there is something you want to feel. There is something you like to.
Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Habiba Oladipo. We begin with a look at the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari gives nod to APC governor to implement robust initiative for socio-economic development. As All Progressive Governors Forum resolved to chart a pragmatic approach towards sustainable national development in Nigeria. Nigeria Terroir Money and Social Investment Initiative wins Africa's Most Impactful Financial Inclusion Award. The Progressive Governor Forum has resolved to chart a pragmatic course towards the execution of a renewed mandate of the governing APC by Nigerians by dismantling obstacles in national development for sustainable future of the country. Chairman of the Forum and Governor of Kebbi State, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, announced this after leading the APC governors to an interactive session with President Muhammadu Buhari. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
This is the first formal meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and members of the Progressive Governors Forum since the inauguration of new administrations at both the national and state levels. While the President and the returning members of the Forum are barely 3 weeks into their renewed mandate of consolidation for the newly elected governors of the party, it is still a learning period. To the Progressive Governors Forum, however, there is no better time than now to plan for a more coordinated approach towards making the next level agenda more decisive and impactful on Nigeria's national life. This meeting, held behind closed doors, was therefore convened to bring the President up to speed on strategies towards the implementation of the new initiatives for a better Nigeria.
We offer our support to work with Mr. President continuously to ensure that we increase economic performance and social cohesion. We will be very more active in ensuring that investment in all the areas that can provide employment and incomes rapidly will increase. We will collaborate more to ensure that security is enhanced, particularly where it involves conflicts that are across state borders.
Although the newly elected governors might not have benefited directly from the President's magnanimous gestures in the last 4 years, their respective states must have either felt or are still feeling their impact. And on this, the APC governors were unanimous in appreciating the Nigerian leader.
We are quite happy with the support for states, where over 2 trillion, close to 2 trillion naira was given in the form of restructuring of loans, refunds on federal roads, refund for Paris Club, which has helped encourage economic activity in the states, payment of salaries, payment of pension, payment of gratuities, and overall investment in the economy by infrastructure spending. We are equally appreciative of increased investment in agriculture, which has been because of conscious decision to support agriculture as a way out of our economic challenges and provide economic growth.
The governors used the opportunity to commend President Buhari for the giant strides recorded so far in the areas of security, economy, and public accountability. Despite the drop in incomes, they say the value for money, which the President has always insisted upon, has been paying off with significant results in critical sectors of the economy. The governors also appreciated the President for successfully celebrating the new National Democracy Day, not only consistent with his promise, but also a major element reflective of his democratic ideals, thereby putting to rest an issue so important to many Nigerians. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State has been given the go-ahead by President Muhammadu Buhari to implement his robust initiative for the enhanced socio-economic development in the Center of Excellence. This was during a meeting with the President, who also granted audience to the Governor of Kano State. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, again State House correspondent Adamu Sambo, has the details.
Describing his first formal engagement with the president since coming to power as an honor, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State briefed the Nigerian leader behind closed doors on his robust plan of action for the development of the state. Most importantly, his mission is to seek for cooperation and collaboration with the federal government, as well as the approval and support of the president.
Essentially to improve the quality of life and business development in Lagos. And we're very serious about it to ensure that we keep our whole state safe, secure, and it's also the gateway to economic development of the country. And so we must continue to encourage the international investors and also the private sector that Lagos remain ready for business and it's safe.
What are you taking away from your interaction with the president? How did he respond to your planned initiative for Lagos in the next level?
I can't get it any better. I mean, his words were very encouraging. You know, his acceptance to the initiative that brought on board were very resounding. I'm very enthused, I'm very encouraged, and it just gives me the opportunity to go and do a lot more once we get this off the track.
President Buhari's engagement with Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje of Kano State centered on security of lives and property in the center of commerce for lasting peace and prosperity.
We are always in synergy with security agencies to ensure that Kano remains peaceful despite what is happening in the neighboring states. So I showed him that our emphasis now is on community policing, community participation, especially those local governments surrounding the forest here in Kano. So as of today, I think Kano is one of the most peaceful states in the Federation.
Governor Ganduje also gives an update on the probe he ordered in respect of the 6.8 million naira allegedly swallowed by a gorilla in a Kano zoo.
The preliminary report we have received is that there was an armed robbery, not the issue of gorilla. The issue of gorilla is a junk journalism, I think, because there is even no gorilla in the zoo. So, but we learned that there was armed robbery, of which the whole safe was even carted away, but they are still investigating.
The governor used the opportunity to confirm that discussions are still ongoing towards reconciling him with the Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has signed into law 2 bills seeking the establishment of the National Institute for Security, as well as the amendment of the Federal Polytechnic Act. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, House of Representatives, Umar Yakubu, announced this while briefing newsmen. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the President also granted audience to a delegation of progressive ambassadors of Nigeria. Details in our subsequent bulletin. The European Union Election Observer Mission to Nigeria has explained that most of the recommendations contained in its report in the 2019 general elections in Nigeria requires legal reforms. The foreign mission stated this when it visited the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, as part of consultation for the National Assembly's intervention.
17 days after his election, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, had his first official meeting. It was with the European Union Election Observation Mission to Nigeria. The essence of the meeting is for the observer mission to officially present a copy of its report on the 2019 general elections in Nigeria to the legislative arm of government. The report, made of 30 recommendations, also appreciated the improvement Nigeria has made so far in its electoral process, but called for more.
Of those 30, we've identified 7 priority recommendations, but really our ultimate conclusion is that a process of comprehensive reform is needed.
President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, explained that the National Assembly has always embraced positive changes to the electoral process.
The INEC particularly is one institution that has been supported fully by the National Assembly and will continue to do that. through legislation to improve his capacity, but also through appropriations to ensure that it gets whatever it requires for very credible and optimum organization, processing, and conduct of elections.
Both parties re-echoed the existing relations between Nigeria and the European Union and harped on the need to strengthen the ties, especially in the areas of economic and political advancement.
The United States Agency for International Development, USAID, is taking advantage of the present administration efforts to ensuring universal health coverage for Nigerians to launch its integrated health program in 3 states of Sokoto, Bauchi, and Kebbi. The mission director said all is set to hit the ground running. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
Records from the Federal Ministry of Health show that the most vulnerable groups in the society are mothers and children, who are always prone to the negative effects of various health problems that exist among the population. Nigeria has made notable progress, particularly in refocusing its attention to primary health care, maternal and child health. However, neonatal, infant and under 5 mortality is still a challenge. It is in a bid to further tackle the challenge that the American agency is partnering Nigeria and investing $225 million to strengthen health system which supports primary health care and services.
IHP will focus on improving quality maternity and newborn care in health facilities, on routine immunizations, malaria diagnosis and treatment of common childhood diseases, all of which data show will significantly reduce incidence of mortality of mothers and children.
Applying a life cycle approach and seize every opportunity to offer high impact, inclusive, gender-sensitive health services, removing barriers to access and coverage.
Chief of Staff to the Kebbi State Governor Suleiman Muhammad Argungu spoke on behalf of the 3 benefiting states.
We will do everything possible to support this network and promote equity, quality, and dignity. We will strongly make quality of care as a priority within the framework of universal health coverage.
2 more states are to benefit from the 5-year program. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
And staying with health matters, the United States of America has reaffirmed support to the Nigerian Defense Ministry effort at reducing the spread of HIV/AIDS and other related diseases among military personnel as well as civilians living around the barracks. The United States Ambassador to Nigeria gave the assurance at the opening of site commanders and team leaders meeting in Abuja.
Recent survey revealed that the military communities have high-risk environment for HIV transmission with a ratio of 14.67%. The Ministry of Defense, as part of its response mechanism in 2005, established the Health Implementation Program in collaboration with the United States Army Medical Research with a view to curtailing the scourge of HIV and AIDS amongst troops, their families and civilians living within their environs. The program since then has impacted meaningfully on human capacity development and provided infrastructural upgrade in several military health facilities across the country. The meeting of these 2 partners, therefore, is to evaluate the efficiency of the program for a proper direction and accessibility of the antiretroviral drugs, vaccination and laboratory facilities.
This is in addition to the enhanced research and interventional efforts to curb other infectious and non-communicable diseases.
We're working together to increase access to HIV/AIDS and malaria diagnosis and treatment, to improve the quality of family planning and reproductive health services, expand access to immunization for children and women. Nigeria also has one of the highest tuberculosis burdens in Africa, and we are working closely with our Nigerian partners to address that worsening problem.
The meeting is also expected to present a guideline for the steering committee for proper implementation.
And meetings like this allow us to be able to determine the best way to grow those by sharing best practices.
And we have this program that is cheap, accessible, and people can come there with confidentiality and they can get what they need. So by establishing the military facilities and people are coming there, they are more likely to benefit.
The Nigeria Defense Ministry and United States partnership is in consonance with the United Nations action against the scourge of HIV/AIDS and global response to the epidemic in Abuja. Doing Dia, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. More reports after this break. Please stay tuned.
One Football Confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hot Sports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time, to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich. NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Many thanks for being there. The Joint International Republican and National Democratic Institutes have released their final report on the 2019 general elections with 5 key recommendations ahead of the 2023 general elections. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The 2019 general elections marked the 20th anniversary of the country's transition to democratic rule. The international observers believe that the elections highlighted for many Nigerians the need for a national conversation about the progress made since that transition. For the 2019 general elections, the 2 bodies urged Nigerian stakeholders to seriously consider their recommendations, bordering on legal framework and election dispute resolution.
It's important that very soon a serious discussion happens about improvements or adjustments to the electoral process so that those things can be codified into law and preparations can be made to apply those new regulations and rules into future elections.
We see it, the vitality of this country, just the tremendous resources that Nigeria disposes, human capital, material resources. We know what Nigeria can contribute to Africa and to the world.
Election stakeholders feel that INEC has improved significantly in the electoral process, pointing out that more can still be done in future elections.
They did not dispute the eventual outcome of the elections. They pointed out the deficiencies. For instance, they quoted the independent collation system of YAIGA, and they quoted it with approval, that it actually at the end of the day reflected the overall wishes of Nigerians.
The joint final report builds on the findings and recommendations of 3 pre-election assessment missions, as well as preliminary statements released following the February 23, 2019 presidential and National Assembly elections and the March 9, 2019 governorship and state houses of assembly elections. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has condemned the alleged destruction of property at the Nigerian High Commission in London by a Nigerian citizen and views the act as despicable. A statement by the acting spokesperson of the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Friday Akpan, says the act was committed by a 32-year-old Nigerian, Mr. Geoffrey Akweweta Ewim, who was in the High Commission on June 17, 2019 to collect his international passport after the closure of the passport section. He said to have insisted on collecting his passport but failed to provide the collection slip required. Mr. Ewim left the High Commission agitated and returned later and damaged 5 vehicles belonging to the High Commission and 2 cars belonging to visitors. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs urges all Nigerians abroad to exercise restraint and be of good behavior on the grounds of all missions of the country, as they will be given efficient services. Armed conflicts in Nigeria have forced an estimated 2 million people to flee from their homes. Many of them are now internally displaced, while others have sought to be refugees in neighboring countries. National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons is working tirelessly to respond to the most urgent needs of affected families. Obiangeli Ugoke tells us more.
All refugees, but each individual has a different story to tell. From the story of critical food shortage to affliction and abuse of their human rights.
We've taken our campaigns to the grassroots.
Mrs. Sadia Omar Farouk is the Federal Commissioner, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. She is collaborating with ECOWAS and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees to raise awareness on the situation of refugees, not just in Nigeria, but across the globe.
The Commission is focusing really now on durable solution, and this durable solution means how we can empower these people in different kinds of skills so that they can be economically self-reliant, they can fend for themselves and their families, and they will be on their feet. So this is the new approach we are now focusing on.
We are investing in livelihoods, and of course we are working with many other interlocutors that are interested in these issues to make sure that we have the resources.
So the dialogue is going on at the regional level with our partners wherever they are, in Europe, in Africa, to continue to support, mixed migration and to see the positive benefits of it.
The government of Nigeria also received a pat on the back for its repatriation efforts and accommodating refugees from neighboring countries. Representatives of the various agencies appealed to all governments of the world, civil society organizations, and all philanthropists to help in sharing the burden of those who have been forced to leave their homes. Obiageli Ugoke, NTA News.
National President of the Association of Christians, Reverend Samson Ayokunle, has been re-elected for another tenure. A statement signed by Pastor Adebayo Oladeji says election held by Reverend Father Hassan Kuka that Reverend Ayokunle scored 59 votes, while his contender, Elder Caleb Ahima of Tekna Ekwa, scored 44. However, Ahima, according to the Constitution of CAN, now becomes Vice President. Reverend Father Kuka charged the new leadership of CAN to work for the unity of the association and express satisfaction with the election, which was free and fair. In his response, CAN President charged church leaders to work in unity with the leadership of CAN. 144 members of the National Executive Committee constituted voters who participated in the exercise. And for trending stories in the financial sector, Musa Babaliu is our guide.
The Nigeria Trader Money and Market Social Investment Initiative wins Africa's most impactful financial inclusion award. The program was recognized at the Africa Bankers Award held in Equatorial Guinea. The organizers say the social investment program succeeds in delivering financial products and services to wider parts of the society. In the meantime, the Office of the Vice President Yemi Oshibajo welcomes the recognition of the social program. In another development, investors have indicated interest in Nigeria's mango value chain. Ministry of Trade and Investment is to provide all necessary documents that bring out the country's potentials in tree crop production.
And then we can secure the proper financing. We hope to generate at least 400,000 mango trees in every state of the Federation.
And Nigeria's exchange market closed on a negative note at minus 0.39 points this Tuesday.
Presidency welcomes a joint report on the International Republican Institute and National Democratic Institute on the 2019 general elections in Nigeria and recommendations for the 2023 general elections. A statement by Gerber Shehu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, says the report shows clearly that President Buhari won the elections by almost 4 million majority with a 14% margin. A statement also, however, says the most important thing in an election is that victory reflects in the will of the people. It says the administration intends to build on the innovation of the election that facilitated inclusiveness, participation, such as providing braille and braille to the blind to cast their ballots. Top players in the digital migration of broadcasting, especially in television, are strengthening collaboration to beat the new deadline after Nigeria's failure to migrate in 2015. To this end, a technical team from Gates Air, led by the chairman, Pinnacle Communications Limited, visited the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, to perfect strategies for the switchover. Fatima Umar Buba reports.
It was a process that started many years ago to not only improve quality of television signals, but also the quantity. Having failed to meet the deadline for digital migration, the Integrated Television Services, an arm of the Nigerian Television Authority, and Pinnacle Communications Limited, two licensed signal distributors in Nigeria, have intensified efforts to get Nigeria there. So far, 6 states have migrated successfully from analog to digital transmission, and this visit to NTA by the team is to further enhance the process.
The focus of the Nigerian analog switch off and digital switch on is got the priority focus in our company to the very, very highest level.
Director General NTA Yakubu Ibn Mohammed appreciated the visit and expressed NTA's willingness to partner for a common cause, which is service delivery to Nigerians.
The relationship between ITS and Pinnacle's communication is excellent, and we are doing everything we can, both personally and officially, to make sure that we grow from strength to strength.
Very good. The beauty now is that you can see that we're collaborating with ITS, and Gombe is almost ready. We're looking at Lagos, Kano, and Port Harcourt.
The Director General also received members of the General Emmanuel Ebisoye's Foundation, where the chairman solicited NTA's cooperation to promote the essence of exemplary leadership of the late General and first Pro-Chancellor of University of Abuja.
Honesty and commitment to patriotism needs to be expounded, and so that we can have those who are coming after the youths to emulate.
The committee, which reiterated NTA's leading role in television broadcasting in Africa, urged the management to maintain the standard it has set for decades. Fatima Umar Buba, NTA News.
And now sports. Nigeria Super Eagles are now in Alexandria for their AFCON group matches. Correspondent Oche Ngbede recalls Nigeria's record and the Eagles' attempt to earn a 4th title in AFCON.
The battle line has been drawn and the 24 teams are qualified for the 2019 African Cup of Nations and now in last-minute preparation for the 32nd AFCON. Nigeria in Group B alongside Guinea, Madagascar and Burundi. Ahead of kickoff on June 21st, fans of the Super Eagles are confident that, based on the record of the 3 group members, it appears the Super Eagles are going to have their easiest group stage run ever in the history of the competition. Since 1957, when the first AFCON tournament was held, Guinea has qualified for only 12 editions, while Madagascar and Burundi are debutants in Egypt 2019.
Many thanks for watching the news on NTA International. I am Habiba Oladipo.
You've been thinking about coming to Nigeria? Then what are you waiting for? Come share in our wealth of vast resources. Come discover treasure. Come to where there's lots of business opportunities. To Nigeria. Nigeria, my nation, my pride.